Okay, review for the final test of the year, except for the exam. So what does it mean to say a point is a solution of a system of equations? It means the point is a solution to all or each equation. This would be E. In other words, on each line. So if you're talking about 2 or 3 lines, it's the intersection of said lines. Alright, check to see if the ordered pair is a solution. So all we do is literally plug these in. Now remember, please make sure you're plugging each one of these in. And if you get a no on the first one, you can stop. So I'm going to do 4 times 3 plus 2 times 2 equals 18. Well, that's 12 plus 4 equals 18. 16 does not equal 18. I can stop. I don't have to do the second one. I don't care if it fits the second one because it can't satisfy both. So I'm done. Negative 4, negative 1. 4 times negative 4 plus 2 times negative 1 equals 18. That's negative 16 plus negative 2 equals 18. And that's negative 18 does not equal 18. So that's again a no. I don't have to go on the second one. Please show your work on these problems, even if you do it on the calculator. Because let's say you type in the calculator wrong and get the wrong answer. At least show your work so you can get partial credit maybe. Okay, solve and check your solution using any method you want. I mean, graphing method, but when I say either method, you can put in slope-intercept form or the cover-up method. So I'm going to do the cover-up method in the first one. So I'm going to cover up my y, and that's going to give me x is 5 divided by 2. And again, I plug in y. And then I'm going to cover up the x. And that's going to be, be careful here, because negative y is 5. I plugged in 0 for x. So positive y is negative 5. So I'm going to go to 0, negative 5, put it down right there. And 5 halves, which is 2.5. Right there. That's going to be hard to do on the board, but we'll see. Try my best. Now, on the second one, it's in slope-intercept form already, so negative 5, this is easy. Negative 5 is right here, and I have a slope of negative 3, 1. So that means down 3, 1, 2, 3, right 1, or up 3, left 1. Now, this one is easy to know where it intersects. Wow, that is a horrible line. Horrible line. Not even close. Try going this way. Well, either way, it's obvious where it intersects at negative 5 because we have that point right here and right here. So the intersection is at 0, negative 5. Okay, 3x plus 5. 5 is the y-intercept. Remember, this is M and this is B. B is where we begin. M is how we move. So up 3, right 1, down 3, left 1. Okay, and then if I do the cover-up method, if I cover up my y, I get x is 1, And if I cover up my x, which means 0 for x, I'm going to get negative 3. Remember, this has to move over y equals negative 3. So negative 3, 0, negative 3 is right here. 1, 0 is right here. And if you just check the slope of this, you go up 1, 2, 3, right 1. This is a slope of positive 3, which over here we have a slope of positive 3, which means we have parallel lines, even though they're horribly drawn there without a straight edge. So that means no solution, because they're parallel lines. Okay, substitution method. This one's easy because it's already solved for y. I'm going to put this right in here. So I'm going to start on the second one, 3x plus negative 2x minus 9 equals negative 14. Now, it's not important to put this in parentheses. You can if you want. You don't have to. The reason it doesn't matter is because this is a plus sign, so it doesn't matter if you distribute a plus. If it was a minus sign, you'd have to distribute it. And if there was a coefficient, a number there, in front of this y right here, then you would need to put in parentheses and distribute that number. Well, we can just join like terms and get x minus 9 equals negative 14, add 9 to both sides, and we get negative 5. Now I can plug negative 5 in anywhere I want. It's a little bit faster to plug it in right here because it's already solved for y. So y equals negative 2 times negative 5 minus 9. So that's going to be 10 minus 9. And so that's going to be y equals 1. So my point is at negative 5, 1. Okay, over here, this one already is solved for x, so I'm just going to plop that in right here. Notice I have a 3 in front of my x, so I do need to put parentheses, 2y minus 1. Minus 2y equals negative 3. I distribute my 3 carefully to both items, 6y minus 3 minus 2y equals negative 3. Join my like terms, which is 4y minus 3 equals negative 3. I'm going to move the 3 over by addition and get 4y equals 0, so y equals 0. Now again, I can plug the 0 in anywhere I want, but it's going to be a little bit faster. Plug it in right here because it's already solved for x. So x equals 2 times 0 minus 1. X is negative 1. So my answer is negative 1, comma 0. And I just write it as an ordered pair. Combination elimination. Now, this one's pretty easy because I already have two numbers that match, 3x and 3x. But one of them needs to be positive, one needs to be negative. So I can multiply either one by negative 1, and I'm good to go. Now, some of you might have said, hey, I can just multiply the top by negative 2 and cancel my y's. That is also a possibility. All right? And if this ended up being a nasty fractional answer for x, you can just go back and multiply by negative 2 and cancel the y. But I'm just going to multiply everything here by negative 1. Remember, both sides. It's very important. A lot of people forget to multiply the negative over here. It's the entire equation. So that gives me negative 3x minus 2y equals positive 14. My x's cancel when I add these two together, and I get 2y equals, well, I don't get that yet because I don't know where the 14 came from. Sorry about that. It should be negative or positive 13. So that makes 14 here. I was getting ahead of myself, I think, on the answer. I divide, I get y equals 7. Now I can plug 7 into either one. It really makes no difference. I'm going to plug it into the bottom one. 3x plus 4 times 7 equals 1. So that's 3x equals, plus 28 equals 1. 3x equals negative 27 when I subtract 28. And then x equals negative 9. So my point of intersection is negative 9, comma 7. Over here, you can choose to eliminate x or y. If I want to cancel my x's, then then I'm going to need 3 and 5 both go into 15, so I'm going to need a 15 and a negative 15. If I want to cancel my y's, I'm going to need a 6 and a negative 6. Okay? Doesn't matter. I'm going to go with 2 here and 3 here, just because it's smaller numbers, and I already have positive and negative. Not a big deal, but that's just where my brain goes to right now. So 2 times 3, 6x, minus 6y equals 24. 3 times 5, 15x, plus 6y equals 18. My y's cancel. I get 21x equals 42, and x is 2. Now I can plug my 2 in either place. I'm going to plug it in the second one, so I don't have to worry about the negative 3. Not a big deal. It's just the way my brain works. So 5 times 2 plus 2 times y equals 6. 5 times 2 is 10. So I'm going to subtract and get negative 4. So y is, that's a y, negative 2. So my point is 2 comma negative 2. Number 9, either one, substitution elimination. Number 9 screams at me to do elimination because these are already opposite. So 9y minus 7y is 2y, and that's negative 6. Y is negative 3. Plug negative 3 in wherever. I'm going to do the first one, 4x plus 9 times negative 3 equals negative 19. That's going to give me 4x minus 27 equals negative 19. Add 27 to both sides. And that's going to give me 8. And then x is 2. So my point is 2, negative 3. Over here, definitely not going to do substitution because no x or y is by itself. And no matter what I try to divide by, I'll get a bunch of fractions. So again, on this one, I got to choose. Do I want to go for the x's with 15 or the 9 and 4 with 36? I'm going to go with 15 and negative 15. You choose. One's got to be negative because they're both positive right now. So that's going to give me negative 15x minus 12y equals positive 90. Remember, don't forget you're distributing to both sides. 5 times 3 is 15x minus 5 times 9 is 45y equals 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 1, negative 90. So my x's cancel. I end up with negative 57y equals 0, because this cancels. No matter what I divide by, I'm going to get 0. And I can plug in 0 wherever. Let's do the second one. 3x, whoops, minus 9 times 0 equals negative 18. That's gone. So 3x equals negative 18. X is negative 6. So my point is at negative 6, comma, 0. Number 11. Okay, setting up the problem. We have a classic problem here where we have student tickets and adult tickets, and people are going to the movies. So this is a classic number, value, value, value problem. So x I need to name and y I need to name. I'm going to say adults and students. Some of you might use A and S. That's okay. So number. I don't know how many adults and I don't know how many students. All I know is there's a total of 33 people. Okay? So that's my number. Unknown number, and 33 known. My cost. The cost for student tickets, remember students is my y, so that's going to be 6y. And my adult is going to be 8.5x. Equals the amount of money made. 215 or gathered up, whatever you want, however you want to put it. Okay? Now at this point, I have to multiply the top by something to cancel. like I told you, I always go for the smaller number. So I'm going to get negative 6x minus 6y equals, negative 198. $8.50 minus $6 is $2.50, 2.5x equals 1750. If I divide by 2.5, x is 7. So right now I know 7 adult tickets. That's an A. That's a D. Now I need to plug that 7 in. The easiest one is the first one. 7 plus y equals 33. To subtract 7, y is 26. So that means, and 26 student tickets. 7 adult and 26 students. Landscaping fee charges a flat fee for delivery and installation per hour. This is 2 jobs. Now remember, when you're comparing 2 jobs, it's a value, 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 and a value, value, value. Okay? Now, these are really easy. X is the flat fee. And Y is the hourly rate. So, it's a very simple setup. And this is a very standard real-world problem. So, job 1. And if you want to, put that over here to kind of organize, you can. So, job 1, kind of reminiscent of where we ended up at the end of the unit with our charts, making those real-world problems linear programming. So job 1, flat fee for delivery, plus my per hour. Now the first job, it was a 2-hour job, and it cost me $200. Now the second job, again, they just charge the same amount of money to come out. I know my Y is unknown rate for a 4-hour job, and that cost me $350. Now at this point, the easiest thing to do is cancel your X's. Okay? Because you just need to make one negative. Make life easy. I'm going to do this one because then I'll get positive numbers. So that's going to be negative x minus 2y equals 200. Cancel. 2y equals 150. So y is 75. Okay? So that's $75 delivery, flat fee, whatever. Now, take that 75, that's my y, I can plug it in wherever I want. X plus 2 times 75 equals 200. Well, 2 times 75 is 150. If I subtract that, I get 50. So that means they charge $50 per hour to work. Okay, back to a number, value, value, value. So I want to make x, love when this happens. X is going to be my nickels, and y is going to be my dimes. Again, if you want to use N and D, that's fine. So I have an unknown number of nickels plus an unknown number of dimes, but I do know that there are 300 in the jar. Very important here. Nickels are 5 cents. Dimes are 10 cents. And the total value was $26.25. As per usual, I like to cancel the smallest coin or number, so I'll multiply by negative 0.05. Yep. And 0.05 times 300 is negative $15 even. So the x's cancel. 10 cents take away 5 cents is 0.05y equals 1125. Now if I divide by 0.05, I get y equals 225. Not 222, 225. Now if I plug that in, x plus 225 equals 300, then x equals 75. So that means I had 75 nickels in the jar and 225 dimes. And remember, you must answer these problems with words. All right, matrix problem. You need to set up your augmented matrix. -4, -5, -1, 18. -2, -5, -2, 12. -2, 5, 2, and 4. Now remember, I cannot show you okay, so I forgot I can't actually show you with this. So for the newer method I showed you, remember you're going to go to alpha, zoom. Apps. Go to apps and hit 9 or 8 if you have a CE. Clear it, hit any key. Remember to pick number 2. And this is going to be a 3 and a 3, so I'm ready to just hit next. And I just put my numbers in. -4, -5, -1, 18. -2, -5, -2, 12. -2, 5, 2, 4. And I just hit solve, and there's my answer, -402. Now, for those of you who like the older, longer way, real quickly, go into Matrix, quit out of here, go into Matrix, go to Edit. Now remember here you have to do a 3x4. And then you put the numbers in again. -4, -5, -1, 18, -2, -5, -2, 12, -2, 5, 2, 4. And this one you have to quit, go back into Matrix, go over to Math, go to RREF, tell it to pick that matrix, just more keystrokes, and there's your answer, -402. So, makes no difference which way you want to go with it. It's up to you. So again here, my answer is -402. Now it's going to do this. Can't anything go easy, of course. Okay, and then the next one. I'm going to set up the augmented matrix here. So -1, technical difficulties. And again, I'm not going to show the long way this time, just the shortcut. So app 9, any key, 2, 3 and 3, next. And put those numbers in. -1, -5, 1, 17, -5, -5, 5, 5. Like I said, another reason I like this is because you can see the whole screen. -10. And then just hit solve. And there it is, -1, -4, -4. All right, Parabola Problems, which is still just doing the matrices again. Just a little bit more work at the outset. Okay, so in this one, remember, I like to move my y over here just for ease. And so we're going to set up, I'm going to write down my 3 points this way, -1, 9, 2, 6, and -2, 18. Then now I'm going to put my -1 squared plus b -1 dx plus c, which is always going to be c, equals 9. And then I'm going to have a here and a here. And you can see the format's going to be the same. This one's always squared, plus b, parentheses, plus b, parentheses, plus c, plus c. This is not going to change. And all we're going to do is we're putting x here, and y here. X here, and y here. It's the same format every time. Now, what that gives us is -1 squared. Remember, it's +1. Let's be smart in the calculator. So that's going to be 1a minus 1b plus c, always 1c, equals 9. And then 2 squared is 4a plus 2b plus always 1c equals 6. -2 squared, remember, is 4a minus 2b plus 1c equals 18. So now I make my augmented matrix. 1, -1, 1, 9. 4, 2, 1, 6. 4, -2, 1, 18. I'm not going to show the calculator for this since I've just done it 2 times. What we end up with is A, B, C of 2, -3, and 4. But remember, we're not done yet. We have to plug that back into the original equation of y equals a, x squared, plus, we could put -3, we just write -3, x, plus c, which is 4, and we're finished. This is the answer. Don't stop early. All right, here we go. Love when that happens. 0, 7, 1, 12, and -1, 16. Again, if you want to do this first, you can just set up like this. A squared plus b plus c equals a parentheses squared plus b parentheses plus c equals a parentheses squared plus b parentheses plus c equals. Now you just plot the x in. So this is 0, 0, and then y. X, x, and y. X, be careful, that one's negative. X and y. So that's going to be an augmented matrix. Oh, I forgot to write out my equation, sorry. So that's going to be 0a squared, I'm just putting here to remind you what goes in the matrix. 0b plus 1c equals 7. And then that's going to be 1a squared plus 1b plus 1c equals 2. And remember, negative 1 squared is 1, positive 1. I'm saying it and I don't write it. 1a squared plus, that's where my negative is going to be. You can write it plus negative, or just write 1 minus 1b plus 1c equals 16. And then my augmented matrix from there, I'm running out of room here, is going to be 0, 0, 1, 7, 1, 1, 1, 12. Was it 12? Yeah. I don't know why I put 2, sorry. 12. And then 1, careful, negative 1, 1, 16. When I run that through the calculator, I get A is 7, B is negative 2, C is 7. Finish off by putting those in. So 7x squared minus 2x plus 7, and I am finished. Okay, 18. This one is missing one of the points. You have to identify your points first. So this one is at 1, 2. This one is at 2, 5.
Thank you.
This is at 4, 5. And this one is at 5, 2. Okay? We're going to plug these into our objective function. Remember, I like to list them all out first, do the work side by side so you can see what the answer is at the end. So it's 2x plus 4y. So 2 times 1 plus 4 times 2. 2 times 2 plus 4 times 5. 2 times 4 plus 4 times 5 again. 2 times 5 plus 4 times 2. And that's going to lead us to 10, 24, 28, and 18. So my max is right here. My min is right here. So my maximum came from the point 4, 5. And my minimum came from the point 1, 2. And I've got to write my corner points down here. 1, 2, 2, 5, 4, 5, and 5, 2.
All right. Last few.
So remember, we start off at the end of the paragraph with the final question. Let's try that again. The last sentence tells us two things. It tells us what our x and y is going to be, and it also tells us what the z function is going to be. So, what mix of belts and walls will produce the most profit? That tells us belts and walls. And again, if you put walls and belts, it's not a big deal. It'll all work out in the end. Now, the next important piece of information it tells us is the objective function. So we're trying to maximize profit. So let's find profit up in the story. Each belt nets $18 in profit. So that's the belts. And the wallet nets 12. Okay? So the belts are X. So that's 18X plus 12Y. $18 per belt and $12 per wallets. Now, both belts and wallets require cutting and sewing. So there's our categories. Belts, wallets. We need cutting and sewing. It says belts require 2 hours of cutting time and 6 hours of sewing. and wallets require 3 of each. It says the cutting machine is only available for 12 hours, and the sewing machine is available for 18 hours. So that's less than or equal, less than or equal. Now we can put our X and Y up here if we want. And we're ready to go. Now our constraints, remember the first two, just start off with these. Get out of the way. Don't forget them. Very important. Then it's going to be (2x plus 3y) less than or equal to 12, and 6x plus 3y less than or equal to 18. Now, since 2 and 3 both go into 12, and 6 and 3 both go into 18, that means we can use the cover-up method, and it'll work very nicely. So if I cover up the x for the first one, I get y is 4. And if I cover up the y, put a 0 in, I get x is 6. For the second one, if I cover up my x, in other words, I put a 0 in, I get 18 divided by 3 is 6. And if I put in a 0 for y, that's 18 divided by 6, which is 3. So those are my points I'm going to put on my graph. So 0, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's off a little bit. Know what's happening here. So I'll go over here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 3, 0. 1, 2, 3. And then 0, 4, and 6, 0. So first off, let me draw a straight line connecting these two. And then I'm going to put a dot 0, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Connect my dots. I don't have to go past because this is in the first quadrant. Now, this one is kind of a nasty one because if you look, it looks like this meets at 1.5, comma 3. And it actually does. So, if we test both points, or both equations, we get 0 is less than 12, true statement. 0 is less than 18, true statement. So we're going to shade underneath both of these, which means we're really shading this overlap area right here. So my corner points are my 1.5, 3, my 3, 0, my 0, 0, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 4. So those are my 4 corner points that I need to test. Sorry, technical difficulties. So, why is this not working? Okay, finally got the board right. So 0, 4, 0, 0, 3, 0, and 1.53. So I plug these in, I get 0 plus 12 times 4, which is 48. 0, 0 obviously is 0 plus 0 equals 0. 3, 0 is 18 times 3 plus 0 equals 54. And 1.5, 18 times 1.5 plus 12 times 3 equals 63. Now we're looking to maximize profits. Well, technically, 63 is the biggest number, correct? But this is a real-world problem. Remember, X is belts and Y is wallets. You can't make 1.5 belts. Nobody's going to buy half a belt. So even though this is the largest number, this one is out because it doesn't fit in the real world. So our next answer is 54. That's our next biggest one, which means our answer is to maximize profits, 3 belts and 0 wallets. I don't know what's happening here. That is supposed to be the word wallets. Even I can't take that. Now, this is a strange problem because of the fact we're not making one of the items, but that's what would happen in this situation. That's what we found out. So maybe they would have to maximize if they wanted to make both. Maybe they would have to adjust their model. But right now, that would be the answer. All right, diet pill, at least 140 milligrams of A and 145 of B. Well, let's look at the final question. Does if type X costs $12 and type Y costs $8 per pound, how many of each type of food should be purchased? Now again, people get confused and don't know whether they should put at the top A, B, vitamin A, vitamin B, or type X, type Y. If you look though, it says, what type of food? That tells you that this must be X and Y up here. Okay, so now we know what to put. As X and Y. Which means, down here in our writing, again, this is going to be type X food, and there's going to be type Y. Which means we're going to put vitamin A here, and vitamin B there. Okay, so at this point, we need to just fill in the information based on what we have. It says type X contains 10 of A and 20 of B. Type Y has 30 of A and 15 of B. Now it says a diet needs at least 140 milligrams of A and at least 145 of B. So at least means that's the very minimum. So we're doing greater than or equal. Now, forgot to do our Z function. It says type X costs $12 and type Y costs $8. So there's my z function, projective function. So my constraints are going to be, again, always x is greater than or equal to 0, y is greater than or equal to 0. Always start with those. And then we have 10x plus 30y is greater than or equal to 140, and 20x plus 15y is greater than or equal to 145. Now, on this problem, it's going to be nasty no matter what you do, whether you use y equals or cover-up method. You're going to get fractions or decimals. So, I'm just going to use the cover-up method and work with the decimals. So if I cover up to 30, I put a 0 in for y. 140 divided by 10 is 14. No big deal. Then I'm going to cover up the x by putting in a 0 and do 140 divided by 30, and it's 4.6 repeating, so we'll round to 4.7. This is just going to be estimating. Over here, if I do 145 divided by 15, so I put a 0 in for x, I'm going to get 9.6 repeating, or 9.7. I put a 0 in for y, and do 145 divided by 20, I get 7.25. So 7 1/4. So this is not going to be a very pretty one either. Promise the ones on the test will be nicer. So 0, 4.7 and 9.7. So 1, 2, 3, 4.7. Let's say right about there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's say 9.7, right about there. And then my other two corner points for x were 14, 0, and 7.25. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.25. Let's put it about there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Put a dot there. So now I'm going to connect my points. And it's going to be this one and this one. And this one and that one. And believe it or not, it looks like they nicely intersect right here at 5, 3. Now remember, this is a minimum one, so we're actually shading this whole area, everything, because it's above both lines, because you get false statements on both of them. So our corner points are actually going to be this 0, 9.7, and 14, 0. So now we're going to crunch the numbers. So we got 5, 3, 14, 0. That's a 1, not a 5. Board's being goofy. And 0, 9.6. So if I do, with my z function, if I do 12 times 5 plus 8 times 3, I get 84. If I do 12 times 14 plus 8 times 0, I get 168. And if I do 12, yes, that's a 1, times 0 plus 8 times 9.6, I get 76.8. Now it's asking how many pounds of each type of food. So there's really going to be two possible answers here, depending on how you think about it. If you think about the fact that you could measure out 9.6 pounds, then 76.8 is your minimum. So you could say 0 of type X and 9.6 of type Y. Okay? If you think about being able to measure it out on a scale. If you think about just wanting to do whole pounds, then your minimum would be right here with 84, where you would say 5 pounds of type X and 3 pounds of type Y. But you could justify 0 and 9.6 also as an answer. And that's it.